All right, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. It's stocked trout, not stalked trout. It's shocking how often people mix that up. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a huge fly fisherman. Welcome back to another episode of Huge Fly Fisherman, here on location. Today's Huge Fly Fisherman video is about stocked and wild trout. I'm gonna talk about how to tell the difference between the two and why it even matters in the first place. But before we get into it, I gotta do the thing and tell you can go to hugeflyfisherman.com and buy all kinds of Huge Fly Fisherman gear and flies and fly boxes and stickers and hats and koozies and shirts and stuff like that. Also, you can check out my other channel at special.tv where you can watch exclusive videos that you can't get here on YouTube, and you can watch all my videos with no ads before they come out on YouTube. Okay, now that that's out of the way, today's video, once again, is about stocked and wild trout. Let's start by talking about how you can tell the difference between a stocked trout and a wild trout. Well, first you should know that sometimes you cannot tell the difference. Fish stocked as fingerlings can look just like a wild trout when they grow up, and some wild trout are a little funky looking. Yay, genetics. Also, none of this stuff that I'm gonna tell you is a hard and fast rule. These are general guidelines. These are fish, they're weird. Even fish of the same species can look very different. On that point, I'm gonna digress real quick. Stop asking which species of cutthroat you caught in Colorado. First of all, it's probably not a greenback, and even if it was, they all look different, even if they're the same species. The best way to tell is with geography. Where did you catch it? All right, enough about that. Let's get back on topic. There are some telltale signs of hatchery rats. Let's start with the fins. That's probably the most common way to tell. A lot of hatchery fish have fins that are deformed or rubbed off. The trout's pectoral fins will be all nubby, their dorsal fin will be all stubby, their caudal fin might look messed up too. That's the tail fin. That's from being raised in close quarters with thousands of other trout in a raceway. A raceway is a concrete ditch where they grow trout. They're pretty gross. I cleaned them for a whole summer in college. So shriveled up fins, probably a hatchery fish. Another way you can sometimes tell a fish is a hatchery rat is by its nose. Have you ever caught a fish where its nose was all rubbed off? Yeah, that was a hatchery fish, freshly stalked. Their nose is rubbed raw from bumping into the concrete raceway all the time. Yeah, sweet trout. Another way you can sometimes tell a hatchery fish from a wild fish is color. Hatchery fish might be more bland. A wild fish is gonna be more vibrantly colored. But white tips on the fins doesn't always mean that it's a wild fish. It could have been stocked as a fingerling. Along with coloration is spotting pattern. If a fish has a really funky spotting pattern, it might have some weird genetics going on and it might be a hatchery fish. I think I see this most often with brown trout. So in general, a wild fish is just gonna be a better looking fish. The colors are nicer, the spotting pattern is clean, the fins are nice and pristine. I don't know what that means, but the fins are nice. Another way you might be able to tell a hatchery fish is from a fin clip. Fin clips are way more common with anadromous fish like salmon, where they're born in freshwater, then run to the ocean to grow up, and then come back to a freshwater river to spawn. You know, like real steelhead. Anyway, if you catch a fish with a clipped adipose or pectoral fin, it might be a hatchery fish. That's a lot less common for trout though. All right, so now you can tell the difference between a stocked trout and a wild trout, but why should you even care? Well, because wild trout are cool animals and stocked trout are decrepit pieces of crap. They're ugly, so they're just inherently bad. So judgmental. They don't taste good because they're fed dog food. Well, I don't think trout taste good anyway, but whatever. Stocked trout are usually kind of stupid. I'd rather catch a fish that has half a clue. It makes me feel better about myself. But most importantly, stocked trout are bad for wild trout. They don't know how to act in a stream. They disrupt the behavior of wild trout. They carry diseases. They dilute the genetics of these wild or native trout. Speaking of, let's remind you the difference between wild and native trout. A wild trout just means it was born in that stream. A native trout means it was there before Europeans came. Native trout were in that stream historically. If you're catching native brown trout anywhere in North America, you're a liar. or maybe an idiot, or probably both. Basically, to sum up this video in one sentence, stock trout are lame, wild trout are cool. But listen, if you really want to catch a trout and all you have near you is stockers, go for it, catch your trout. But you know what I think is cooler than catching stock trout? Catching any native fish. I think native fish are neat, they're natural, they're real. I'd rather catch a native fish than any stocked trout. I'm talking about whitefish, fall fish, suckers, chubs, shad, catfish, whatever. There are fish out there, go catch them. There are other fish besides trout wherever you live, I promise. And on that note, I think we're just gonna end it. Thanks for watching another Huge Fly Fisherman video. I always appreciate it. I will see you as soon as I can with another Huge Fly Fisherman video. Until then, go catch something besides a trout and stay huge. So we're out here camping in the woods. There is something about camping culture that I will never understand. And that is the people that come in the big RVs with the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides, and all they do is drive around. I see it everywhere I go. We're out here doing stuff. At least I feel like we're doing stuff. We're fishing, we're hiking, we're checking stuff out. This whole culture, all they do is drive up and down the road. It's like they're not going somewhere to do something. They're just driving around. They go this way and then they go that way. I don't get it. Hey, you guys want to go camping? Yeah, sure. What do you want to do? Oh, I don't know. Drive around. I don't really get it, but people don't really get what I do also, so whatever. I guess I should be glad they're not out here trying to fish. That's the right way to look at it.